Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. My name is Cedric and today we are talking about the fourth brewery in the Toer de Geuze 2022. Today is kind of a special brewery because they have some oddities, let's say. First of all, they are the youngest Geuze brewery in Belgium. They were founded in 2009. Second, they are the only Geuze brewery in the French-speaking part of Belgium, in Wallonia, and well, it's quite marginal because they are located about 200 meters across the language line or the lingual border. And actually they were founded not really as a brewery but as a Gueuzerie. What we say in Dutch is a Geuze Tilquin, not a brewery. They were actually a blendery. Now, they were founded in 2009 by Pierre Tilquin. Pierre Tilquin was a very smart man. He was a bioengineer, or still is, a bioengineer with a PhD in statistical genetics. And, well, I guess he felt like doing something new. He needed a new hobby. And he started brewing school at the University of Leuven. He took some internships in some large known breweries like Heuge, Drie Fonteinen, Cantillon, and we will hear about those last two later on this week. And yeah, he really got the hang of it, and in 2009 he started his own, well, a blendery back then, not a brewery, called Tilquin. And in 2009 he opened it, and as I say, they weren't a brewery. They didn't brew their own lambic to be blended into the Geuze. They bought their lambic from some other Geuze breweries and blended it into a nice Geuze. They bought wort from brewery Boom, from Lindemans, from Girardin, from Cantillon, and we'll hear about all of those later on. And they blended these worts, these both worts, into a nice Geuze with the 1, 2 and 3 year old lambics. They aged it themselves and then sold it as Oude Geuze or Old Geuze Tilquin. As I said, they founded the brewery in 2009, and in 2010 they sold their first batch, the premier sous-tirage, the first racking, and that was of course rather limited, but then they started blending in bigger batches. I believe currently they are producing about 700, maybe 800 hectoliters a year, of which about 80% is or used to be exported. Don't know the numbers right now, but a few years ago they exported about 80%, and about half of that was to the US. Anywho, in 2012 they didn't just join the Horal, the High Council of Artisanal Lambic Brewers or Lambic manufacturers, but they also introduced their first fruit beer, the Oude Quetch, as they say. And Old Quetch is a plum beer made with purple plums. It was originally a very limited batch, only to be sold at the brewery itself, but it was so successful that in the year thereafter, in 2013, at the Toer de Geuze, they introduced it as a commercial beer. Not very long after that, 2 years later, at the next Toer de Geuze, they introduced their second fruit beer, and that is Oude Mûr, and Mûr is French for blackberry. So they had a nice sour, sharp blackberry lambic. If you visit Tilquin right now, you'll see that they'll have a lot of experimental fruit beers. I believe they have, I think maybe 8 on the menu right now. So yeah, if you get the chance, go over there, taste them all, you'll have a blast. Then in 2017 they expanded the brewery with some with a few extra stainless steel fermenters. I have visited the brewery and they are quite quite nice fermenters. They're, I believe, 2000 liter vessels in which they blend 1000 liters of lambic with 1000 kilograms of fruit, which results in about 20 hectoliters of fermenting fruit lambic. Now about this beer, we don't have any fruit lambic right now because the Toer de Geuze is all about the Geuze, the Old Geuze, and we have that one right here. This is the Oude Geuze Tilquin or Geuze Tilquin à l'ancienne. This is the batch 2020-2021 and it's a 7% ABV. Now you might notice that I have a different glass today. This is not the Toer de Geuze glass, this is a Geuze Tilquin glass, and if I'm honest, this is not the glass used for the Old Geuze. This is actually the glass used for their their regular Geuze, the Geuze that they sell in kegs, and that's the 5.2% ABV version, no longer aged and not re-fermented in barrels, in bottles for 6 months. This one is of course a classic Old Geuze blend, a blend of 1, 2 and 3-year-old lambics, and it is re-fermented in a bottle for 6 months. Of course, all the lambics and the blend have ripened on oak barrels, and they have told me that because the barrels are still quite young, they still release an amount of tannins, and tannins gives a dry bitterness in the taste, so I'm very curious as to whether we will taste that. By the way, the difference with this glass or in between this glass and the Toer de Geuze glass or a classic Old Geuze glass is the bottom. Usually the Geuze glasses are a bit wider and the bottom is a lot thicker, and legend goes, and well, it's not just a legend, it's true, they have a thick bottom because Geuze tends to be quite sour, and back in the olden days people used to add a bit of sugar, like a sugar cube, and then with a specially made stick, a lambic stick or a lambic stumper, they crushed the sugar cube, and for that you need a thick bottom that can withstand some abuse. But today we are not adding sugar, so I am using the Tilquin glass, and as Thomas Hogendam from Thomas Opens always says, #proper glassware. Oh, here she goes. I am gonna start pouring because I don't want any accidents today. I'm not in the mood for cleaning. It's a very active bottle. And you did see me turn this bottle around. Ooh, we have a runner. You did see me turn this bottle around because on this side, I believe the bottle has been horizontal for quite a while, and I did put all my bottles up vertically for the last week, but apparently it has a lot of yeast sediment in the neck. So, by the way, I'm sorry for the people with misophonia. Again, a nice branded cork with the dates on. There we go. Looking at this, we had a lot of foam, but it dissipates almost instantly. And I see a lot of purling, a lot of big bubbles It's a rather hazy beer because of the yeast, of course. And maybe it's me, but I do have the feeling that this is a bit lighter than the other ones that we had the past few days. It's a bit more yellowy, golden colored, a bit less orange, a bit less straw color. I do get a very dry, tart scent. Quite sour, quite lemony sour. And I actually hear the bubbling, but I don't feel it in the nose, so that's always a good thing. Okay. Still very, very active. Okay, let's have a taste. Right off the bat, the aroma is a bit more sour than the taste, and I immediately get that that bitterness. This bitterness, like I said, from the tannins from the cask, or maybe just from the aging itself, is very present. A very grapefruity taste again. Actually, not very acidic. Actually, this is a rather soft Old Geuze. I am used to Tilquin having quite sour, quite sharp tasting beers, and when I visited the brewery, they told me that this is a very good Old Geuze for people who just start tasting Geuzes, or people who don't necessarily love or don't necessarily drink a lot of Geuze. So this would be a very a gateway Geuze, actually. And I thought, with the sourness of their other beers, that will be just a sales pitch. But now that I'm tasting it myself, I actually believe it. The dryness, the tartness only comes in when I take big sips, when I add some air to my mouth, or when I get a lot of bubbles in, and it almost disappears immediately. I have a slightly dry aftertaste, but actually the bitterness is very, very present, very dominant as well. And I actually believe that this was not a sales pitch, but this is a very good first Geuze. So if you guys are watching because you're looking for some good Geuzes, go out and try to find one of these, actually, and maybe compare it to an Old Boon or any other Geuze. This is rather soft, and since they export 80% of their production, you won't have any problems finding these. I could actually, I like bitter beers, and honestly I could see this being put on the table at a barbecue or at a hot day with a meaty meal, or to replace the Pilsner beers or another yeah, rather bitter beer. So this is a great in-between between sour and bitter. I didn't expect it, but yeah, I seem to love it. So I am gonna leave it at that, and I am gonna empty this bottle and enjoy it a bit further, and I will see you guys again tomorrow for the next beer. I don't know which one it will be, but it will be an Oude Geuze. So yeah, cheers you guys, comment whatever you think, and maybe like this video, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you want to see more, and then you'll get notified when I upload the next one. Goodbye.